Untitled Technology on. We are live, just to let you know, no silly comments.
Thank you. Like last week, you mean?
No, not at all. Looking very bright and colourful today, actually, Debs.
Good. Well, just been out to deliver a wedding this morning, and I have to say it was beautiful. Driving through the little back roads. It's lovely. Real springy feel to the air. All the blossoms coming out.
Yeah.
Really nice. Really,
Someone did
really
mention on the phone to me that it was really sunny in Sudbury, and then I was like, looks grey outside for me.
I went out towards the coast, Aldborough and Thorpeness that way.
Yeah.
It wasn't sunny, but
we've got lots of followers, didn't we?
Just nattering away.
Okay, let's get started, Debs.
Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us on our Friday live stream. Laura and I were just talking amongst ourselves about spring and how bright and cheery it is. So we thought we would welcome Easter with a really bright and cheery arrangement. So we're trying to do something a little bit different. So we've incorporated a few vegetables, as we mentioned last week. So we've got carrots, we've got sprouts, and we've got some radishes, all sourced locally. The carrots came with these beautiful long fronds of foliage, so I'm going to try and incorporate those in the arrangement as well. So just to run through what we're using, so we've got carrots, we've got sprouts, we've got radishes, which I've pre-wired. I'm going to incorporate some of the carrot foliage. I've got some variegated ivy trails, and for my flowers got some rather lovely freesias. Now this particular is a yellow double freesia called Ducat. I don't know about you, but I always think of yellow freesias at Easter. For some reason they seem to work at Easter. We've got ranunculus orange azure or azure orange. We've got some little craspedia here. This is the natural yellow craspedia. We've got a small headed rose called Pats. This is quite a bright, vibrant orange, so trying to tie in with the carrots, obviously. And then we've got a nice large headed rose called Free Spirit. Now, just to illustrate how different, I mean, you've got a slightly different stem length count there. You've got I think these are probably a 40 and these are a 50, but just so you can see the huge difference in head sizes. So although we keep banging on about the fact that the longer the stem, the larger the head, it does also matter what variety you select as well. Free Spirit is naturally an open, blousy, multi-petalled rose, whereas Pats is not. Pats is more of a tulip shape and a much tighter, smaller rose altogether. So although stem length does matter, the variety does matter as well. So always give us a call if you're unsure on what you're buying, and we can advise you as to the head size so that you're not disappointed when you receive what you think are going to be huge roses and actually they're quite a small variety. Okay, so moving on.
And just to say as well, with that Free Spirit, they were really thorny, so I had to use they had a really thick stem. As you can see, really thick stem, and also they were so thorny.
Yeah, you can see the thorns have started all the way up. I can see Laura painstakingly having removed those all. Thank you for doing that for me. That's really sweet of you. And you haven't said that, the Pats, let me just remove those out of there. Pats is not a variety that I've worked much with, I have to be honest. But yeah, looking at those, oh, look at those little vicious devils.
Yeah, always good to have a thorn stripper on hand.
Yeah, and I love these metal ones. Yeah. Some people use the
foliage, or
yeah, they're like a little flower shape. You just grip them and pull them down. But I never have got on with those. No, I like these ones.
Right, let's do a few shout outs before we start working today. We've got Michelle, who's one of our top fans. We've got Wendy as well, top fan. They say hello.
Ladies.
We've got Christina, who's given us a wave. We've also got Debbie Pritchard, who says hello.
Hi, Debbie.
We've got Judith, Vicky, Tracy, Jennifer, lots of lovely ladies. Charlie, who's joined us today. So yeah,
gosh, we've got a good audience today.
I know,
no pressure.
No pressure, Jess.
No pressure.
We have just got one top question from Michelle about putting vegetables and flowers together.
Okay.
Is it?
So
like the gas that the.
Okay, so you shouldn't have a problem with any of the varieties I've chosen. The issue you mostly get with fruit is from the citrus fruits that give off the gas that actually will kill carnations. So citrus fruits are not great. Okay. Shouldn't really have too much of an issue with these vegetables. So yeah, it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
So what we've done, we've got a fish bowl with a 12 centimetre, was it a 20 centimetre sphere? I never was good with length. Okay, 16 centimetre soaked sphere. And what I've done is I've actually wired the carrots just to give them extra support. So if I show you exactly how I've done that, literally just pushed, I think this is a 71 by 180 wire into the carrot, and then just with the usual double leg mount, like so, and then I've hooked that and then forced it up into the base of the sphere. We've done that ahead of time simply because it is quite time consuming. I thought you'd all fall asleep by the time I finished that if we didn't get that done first. So that's how that's all you need to do with your carrots, and they will actually help to support the sphere inside the bowl so that they stand quite nice. So they're actually quite a nice support, as you can see. So I'm going to start by creating a little bit of an outside edge, just using some of this carrot foliage, which seems kind of appropriate really, as we've got carrots in the arrangement, just to give a little bit of a collar around the edge of the arrangement.
Such lovely foliage, isn't it?
Isn't it just? Isn't it? It's not fantastic at holding up, I have to be honest with you. You kind of need to condition it really.
So is there any others? I know we haven't got any foliage in our demonstration today, but is there any foliages that you could use that would work quite well in this colour scheme?
Yeah, I mean, colour scheme wise, I'd probably still stick with dark green, to be honest with you. So if you want something ferny, you've got asparagus fern, which would work quite nicely. Ming fern especially would work well. You could use leather leaf. Leather leaf would be okay. You can cut the little pieces of leather leaf off, little sections of leather leaf, and pop those in. That would work. Just adding my little collar, if you like. Whoops, just snap that piece off. Try that again. So just basically creating a collar all the way around the outside of the sphere.
Oh, lovely Julia's joined us. She says, love your demonstrations and thank you for sharing with us, learning lots from you lovely ladies.
Oh, thanks Julia, that's
she
nice.
She did say lovely ladies actually, she just said ladies.
You added that one.
I just added that in.
Just randomly.
Just thinking highly of myself here.
Why not? We have to boost ourselves sometimes, don't we, Laura?
Sorry.
So, just continuing on with my little collar of foliage of the. Oh, sorry, did I just deafen people?
Yeah, probably.
Sorry about that, everybody. I'm so used to just chucking my scissors down. I forget it makes a huge impact on what you can hear.
So we've got one question. What type of occasion would you use this design for?
Well, I'd probably have it for perhaps maybe on a slightly smaller scale in the centre of your dining table for Easter, really.
Yeah, Easter feast, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Easter feast.
Easter
loving
feast,
it.
yeah.
Loving it. Like
You've got
that.
to have an Easter feast, haven't you?
Yeah, definitely.
You've got how many days off? We might as well embrace it.
Definitely. And so much more healthy for you than chocolate.
Yeah. I think that'll be included then.
Yeah, you could put Easter eggs in, couldn't you?
You could, yes.
Yeah. So just wiring the ivy, or just not wiring, just placing the ivy into the bowl just to...
How do you condition ivy? I often get that question.
Okay, so all I do is the little stem you've got there, cut that at an angle, and just like you would with any other kind of woody foliage, just slit the stem up like so. So you've got a greater surface area exposed of the cells, and then pop that into water. You only need to put it into water up to where the first set of leaves start, and it should be absolutely fine.
If you put all of the leaves into water, would that be detrimental for the leaves, or?
It would be okay short term. Long term, not quite so much, but short term it would be absolutely fine. So just put a couple of pieces. Got a little bit of a fluffy thing on there. Okay. Just adding, just to give a little bit of interest and texture to the arrangement, just adding the trailing pieces of foliage. And as I said, the beautiful thing about having the carrots in there is it actually acts as a support for the sphere, so you don't have to worry about the sphere collapsing.
If you were to make this up for, say, your Easter lunch, when would you make it up?
I'd probably try and do it the day before, really. You don't have too much time on Easter, in my experience, Easter day when you're getting lunch ready. So I'd probably do this the day before. I mean,
is that because the flowers are in oasis, or?
Yeah, I mean, they're not. You can water the oasis, but it's not going to have a huge reservoir of water to drink from. It's just going to be drinking from the oasis. So, yeah, it's going to have a limited life expectancy. Not like something that you'd perhaps put into a vase, which would have a much longer life expectancy. So, yeah. I'm just going to do a kind of a grouping scenario here. So, just popping.
Yeah, absolutely, Joan. You can just literally remove the carrots from the arrangement and any vegetables, and then you can just use the flowers.
And you can always make soup with the vegetables after the arrangement's died.
So economical.
You know me, I never throw anything away if I can help it.
Sure you don't want to throw those stems away, Dad? Sure you don't want to use them for anything?
I probably could find something to use them for, to be fair. Well, I'm going to have a catchphrase. You pay for it, so you may as well use it.
Absolutely.
So I've done a little group of freesias one side, and I'm now going to add another little group of freesias the other side. As I said, this particular variety of freesia is a double bloom, and it's called Ducat. It's quite
do the freesias, sorry to interrupt you, do the
Yeah,
freesias last quite well in oasis?
Yeah, actually freesias are not a bad flower for putting into oasis. They last relatively well. Have a fairly short life or shelf life anyway, really. You can't really expect freesias to last much more than about 5 days, 5 to 7 days. Is that when they're in full bloom? Obviously. Yeah, yeah, they're not one of the longer lasting flowers, but they do have that fantastic fragrance. So you can see what we've done there. We've got a little group there and a little group there. Chuck that greenery away, and I'm just going to add. I've got a little tiny gap in between my freesia, so I'm just going to add some little bits of ivy into that, just to cover that up. I hate to see oasis showing.
Is that one of your pet hates?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's not intended to be part of the design, I mean, sometimes you get the coloured oasis, which is intended to be viewed, so that's different. When it's quite obvious that the oasis hasn't been covered, yeah, it's not good. Not in my opinion, anyway. Right, and then we can also use the little carrots. Tuck that in. So just cover that up a small amount there. Right, so now I'm going to do a little group of my radishes. These are rather nice radishes, I have to say.
Pity they're going into arrangement and you're not eating them.
Yeah, and having mentioned about using them for soup, I don't think I've ever done a radish soup before, so to be fair, probably not. So exactly the same principle with the radishes as with the carrots, wiring wise, just a double wire and then back on itself, so a double leg mount. And just bending the wire back slightly so it anchors into the oasis that little bit better.
Can you demonstrate what you mean by that? We've said that in previous demonstrations, but can you say it again?
Yeah, well, for the reason why we're doing... Yeah, okay. So if you imagine that my hand is the oasis, if you just put a long wire into the oasis, and then as you move your hand, you can pull it out really easy if you catch it. If you do a little hook on the end, again, if this is my hand is the oasis, it's not going to come out quite so easily. It's just an added security thing, really, stop things from falling out and helps to anchor them a little bit more. Just slide that round so you can see how the little grouping of radishes has started. Don't know what the collective noun is for radish. Probably not a group of radishes, to be fair.
I'm in the flower industry, Debs.
Yeah, fair comment.
Oh, another comment. What Julie Spears, she says, "Hi ladies, looks good, but we'll have to catch up with a glass of wine later. I'll be relaxing then."
Oh, sounds like a plan to me.
Definitely. On a Friday night, got to have a glass of wine or gin.
Yeah. You know,
tonic. I'm not just gonna.
Not just gin. I'm glad to hear that. You do realise we have got ourselves a bit of a reputation, don't you, for liking our gin?
We've got Carolyn who says, "Will the Brussels sprouts give you a unpleasant fragrance?" I don't know, actually.
As they get older, they probably will. They will develop a little bit of a cabbage-like fragrance.
I love the smell of Brussels sprouts.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to say, they're a nice vegetable.
Mm.
Very underrated.
Very much down to personal preference there, Karen.
Yeah.
You could use, what other vegetables could you use, Debs?
Well, anything really. I have used in the past at Halloween, I've wired up chilies, sort of hot and fiery.
Get them, on the flower market, can't you? What are they called? The capsicum.
Oh, capsicum. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can buy them on a long stem. We have used them in the past.
To be fair, thinking about it, you could, for instance, instead of using vegetables, you could say use brassica. Oh no, it's quite large, but you could use the slightly smaller brassicas, or you could use artificial vegetables.
Absolutely.
Like plastic or something. If you didn't want to go for the vegetables, the real vegetables.
Yeah, there's all sorts of options, really. Okay, so oops, it doesn't want to go in there for some reason. Ah, there we go. So that's the ranunculus azure. As you see, I've done a little grouping there. Now the little buds with the ranunculus, again, you pay for it all. So I'm going to actually use some of the little buds as well, just to give extra texture. And pop those in.
So are the buds quite insignificant? Are they not going to grow into...
They won't ever develop, no. Unfortunately, they're never going to develop to the size or the colour, unfortunately, of the actual blooms. But they just add a little bit of interest, a little bit of added texture. I'll swing this round so you can have a look and see what I mean. By just adding those few little buds in. It does help to also recess the larger blooms as well, so you kind of notice them a little bit more. Right, just cutting a few more buds off.
Is the ranunculus okay to go into
oasis? Yeah, yeah. They're actually quite sturdy. Sometimes you do have to wire them depending on what you're doing with them. But actually these ranunculus have been conditioned so well, the stems are really nice and you can see really nice and strong. So you can see our grouping so far. Next I'm going to add some roses, just get rid of these odd bits here. Oh, got a couple of nice ranunculus buds there, I can't throw them away. Okay, get rid of those bits now.
Got lots of lovely ladies joined us today. We've got Kate, who's just said good afternoon, ladies.
Afternoon, Kate.
We've got Vicky, who's joined us from Australia.
Oh my word, Australia, goodness me. Do you reckon that's the furthest view we've had?
We have the Philippines, don't we?
Yeah, true. Yep.
Chris has joined us today. And we've also got Nina, who says inspirational, so original, love your ideas.
Thank you, Nina. Now with the roses, I'm now going to use some of the Free Spirit. I actually slit the stems up when I put them into Oasis, only because, again, same principle, it extends the cell structure that's exposed to the water content, so they drink more readily. So just adding those in. Now, as they are quite a large head, I'm actually going to bring those as my focal over the top of the arrangement. Slitting them as we go along. Now, the lovely thing about Free Spirit is they're slightly two-toned, so you've got that sort of almost tangerine-y orange centre, and then they go out to almost a red, coral, and then pink. A really beautiful rose, Free Spirit. Just popping that in. And just swing that round so you can see how the groupings develop in that side. And then our viewers seem quite quiet today. Are they asking questions?
I'm just saying hello.
Well, that's lovely. Let us know what you're doing for Easter. Have you got any big flower projects coming up? Obviously, we've been busy getting longiflorum lilies open, ready for church, haven't we, the last few days? People have been buying their lilies in advance so that they get open in time for church. Longiflorums can be particularly stubborn in coming open. So, yeah, we've had a lovely cold fridge full of longiflorums.
Longiflorums, orientals and Asiatics, really.
There we go. Just putting my last Free Spirit rose in.
But from our last demonstration, last week, the discussion on lilies, we actually put those lilies into our office, and it literally smells incredible in our office. Like full of all those lilies. It's amazing.
And they look really, really good. Now they're fully open and look lovely.
Yeah, and they smell amazing.
They do.
You probably don't want hay fever or anything if you come into the office.
No, not a good trade really for that.
What are you doing now, Deb?
So I'm just going to add my sprouts now. So I'm just looking at the colour balance. Bring those little beasties over. I'm going to pop those sprouts in next to the Free Spirit roses.
That's something you don't say every day, Debs.
Indeed. Not sure I've ever said it actually.
We've got a question from Kate, also relevant to last week in terms of how can you get the lilies to open quicker?
Well, I did try and manipulate some of the blooms, but
I probably would say, Kate, if you maybe go and have a look at our demonstration from last Friday, we shared lots and lots of tips on lilies and how you can get them open quicker. So I'd probably just refer back to that because there's so much information on that video. Let me just link you into that for you so you don't have to go back. Bear with me.
Yeah, it's, that is the one issue with lilies. They are so stubborn. Probably, apart from peonies, I would say they are probably the most awkward flower to predict. They're very dependent on the ambient temperatures. And also, we never 100% know what kind of stage of development they're going to be in when they come into us. Because if they've been grown and packed and stored in a slightly warmer environment, then they're going to be that little bit more developed when they arrive with us. So it's a very difficult thing to predict. It really is.
We've got peony season coming up, haven't we?
Oh, scary stuff. Yeah. Again, peonies are probably even worse, to be honest. But yeah, very difficult. And everybody always wants advice, obviously, on how long it's going to take to get them open. And it's so difficult to give informed information because you don't see the flowers until they come in. So it is, a lot of it is down to common sense, really. When you receive the variety, or receive whatever flower it is you receive, it is a little bit down to common sense as to what you need to do with them. If they are anything, really, to be honest with you, if it's fully open and you want to hold it back, you put it into a colder, darker environment, and it almost holds them in suspended animation. If you want them to open up fully, you put them into a warmer, lighter environment, sort of slightly more domestic environment, really.
You just added the...
Oh, sorry.
She's going
I'm rabbiting away. I've added a few little bits of craspedia across there, just to bring that colour scheme in, and then I'm just going to pop in a couple of the bright orange roses, which is called Pats.
With a Z?
With a Z. I always think of EastEnders and Pat when people say that. Pat. Not that I'm an EastEnders fan, you understand, but...
Controversial there, Debs.
Don't watch very much telly, to be honest.
We'll let you off.
Okay. There we go. Just popping some little bits of ivy in there just to continue the theme.
What would you like?
Sprouts. Looking for my I have some sprout tops. No, I won't. Carrot tops.
Definitely you've never seen sprout tops.
I have used before now. I've actually used the big leaves of rhubarb before in a big arrangement, and well, you've seen me do a couple of big vegetable funeral tributes, haven't you? Where we've done all sorts of vegetables.
Yeah, that's one thing about that you can do for incorporating vegetables. You've got the funeral tributes where you just solely use vegetables. Also, you could almost do an interpretive garden style that we looked at yesterday,
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
you create the visual of the garden.
Yeah, so you're
With moss
replicating it. I know we're not sort of dealing with funeral work here, obviously, but you know, someone that's passed away that actually is not a flower fan, more of a veg gardener, then you can create some really lovely things with vegetables.
Absolutely.
So I've just added a few more pieces of the carrot foliage there.
And Joan's made a good point, you could also use it for harvest in church.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. Most definitely. I'm just going to add some more of the Pats roses. I'm going to cut a little bit of the foliage off here as well and use that just to tuck in where I've got a couple of little gaps. Adding that in as we go.
So is that the rose foliage?
It is the rose foliage, yep. There's no reason why, I mean, again, it's not the longest of lasting foliage, but it's going to last as long as the carrot top, so you might as well use it. And again, just slitting the stem up of the roses just to encourage more cell structure to open up to the water. Just pop a bit of got a couple of stray sprouts here. Pop those in. Now it's very much a grouped format, this arrangement, so it doesn't have to be. You could do a slightly more random design if you wanted to. This is quite set, so I will just spin it round in a minute so you can see where I've got up to. As obviously we've gone today very much with an orange and yellow colour theme to match in with the carrots as much as anything. But you could do it with any other colouring really that would blend with orange. You could even do rainbow colouring if you wanted to. All colours of the rainbow. Now I've just got the last few pieces of craspedia to pop in. Sorry? Just put my rubbish away. I'm going to hold on to those for a moment.
Craspedia, are they actually quite a long-lasting bloom?
Yeah, and they will dry as well.
Do they dry in colour?
No.
No.
No, like most things that you dry, they fade. They lose the brightness. But yeah, they will dry. You can then spray them. They look really nice, sprayed gold at Christmas. And to be honest, I've seen them sprayed as well for weddings. If you've got a particularly peculiar colour that you're trying to match for a wedding, like rose gold for example, which is really difficult to get flowers in rose gold, if you spray a few pieces of craspedia in rose gold, it can look really nice in a bridal bouquet. So,
just like turquoise, it's really hard to get that colour.
It is really hard. Coral and turquoise seem to be quite popular again this year as well. Or watermelon.
Watermelon, yes.
I think that's the new description for coral. Oops. Just adding some more little bits of the carrot tops into that. Did I use all my ivy up? Yes, I did. Okay, so if we bring that ivy around just a little bit more, just so you can see, and just spin that round. Move that over. Now, the craspedia stems that were left over, if you wanted to, you could then just make shapes with those and pop those in just to give a little bit of added interest. And again, they won't last a huge amount of time, but they'll still last as long as the carrot tops, so it just seems such a shame to throw them away. That just adds a little bit of added interest to the arrangement. I'll pop it round in a minute so you can see what I'm talking about.
An extra dimension really, isn't it?
Yeah, just a different texture, just another little bit of a design idea. Just if I spin that round, you can see. Makes that little bit of difference, doesn't it? Just gives it a little bit of a modern feel as well.
Can you do that with quite a lot of different foliages?
Absolutely, yeah. Only thing I would say you can't really do it with is slightly more fleshy stems, simply because they don't bend. I mean, you don't have to do squares like I have. You could, if you wanted to, just do a loop. If I show you, whoops. Well, you could if that didn't snap. I'll just show you what I mean. Get in there. So you get a loop effect rather than a shape. And you could achieve that with bear grass as well, or lily grass, or flexi grass, any of the grasses really. If you didn't want to use the natural stems, you could always use bear grass. Nearly there. Now, as far as watering is concerned with this arrangement, I would just pour a little bit on the top. You will find that it will filter down, but it's not going to be detrimental to the carrots. They'll be quite happy to soak the water up, but it wouldn't be a long-term thing. So,
just a bit of fun, isn't it?
Absolutely. So, whoops, ping. There we go. There we have our carrot and vegetable design. I hope you've enjoyed it. Do let us know if you've got any comments. Please don't forget to share us, like us, and don't forget to press the button down there, share us with your friends. And lots more tips and hints on our YouTube channel, and obviously visit us on Facebook, where we've got all the rest of our upcoming events. So order up to Monday for delivery before Easter. Obviously, with it being a bank holiday weekend, we don't provide a delivery service on the Good Friday. So anything you need for this Easter, you will need to take delivery of on Thursday. So you've got up until Monday to do that. So have a fantastic weekend. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed our slightly different arrangement today. And I'm sure there will be some carrots floating around in arrangements over the UK this weekend. Thanks very much for joining us. Bye for now.